And I do encourage you, as Mark said, to contact the national offices, the people listed, because they would be the ones who would know what's happening on a national level better than we would.
Can we get a copy of the petition? Is it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Could I get your name as well?
Charlie Grantham, as Chief Operating Officer, and I would just like to thank y'all once again for bringing this to the attention as my letter to the governor earlier this week. Because of things that are happening there, I have some grave concerns as a 35-year employee of Alabama Public Television that down the road this may open some doors that could potentially, because of funding cuts, we're currently operating very low. The state funding is down some 60% from 2008, and some of these actions or inactions of what we've got to do could jeopardize our federal funding. It has already caused problems, and people are withdrawing several thousands of dollars in individual, the support we get from the community. They're pulling back, and it's already into the thousands of dollars of support that has been pulled back. And at some point, we will reach a point where we can't pay the electric bills, and certain things will happen. And it's encouraging that people are supporting Alabama Public Television, because Alabama Public Television originally, or Alabama Public Television is actually the working name for Alabama Educational Television, and that's our mission. Our prime thing is to educate and inform, and not to indoctrinate.
If I might give a couple of examples of the kinds of really outrageous falsehoods that come from David Barton, so that people can understand that we're not merely talking about a slightly different politicized view of history, but actually just outrageous falsehoods. David Barton has, among many other things, claimed that the founders of this country already had the entire debate on creation and evolution, quote unquote. That is a remarkable claim, given that Charles Darwin's Origin of the Species, the first book laying out the theory for evolution, was published in 1859. Strange thing there. Another case, very similar, David Barton has claimed that the founders did not support slavery or engage in it in this country. Of course, that's false on its face, but quite beyond that, he said that, in fact, the cause of the American Revolution was us Americans at that time, the Founding Fathers, rejecting slavery. He said, quote, "That's why we said we want to separate from Britain, so we can end slavery." Another remarkable claim. It's probably worth pointing out that the British abolished slavery in 1833. That's 31 years before the 13th Amendment in this country. That's the kind of, quote, history, unquote, that David Barton is offering us.
And I'd like to point out that this is really, we represent a very diverse faith community. This is not Lutherans or Catholics or Baptists or anyone individually, but a very diverse group. And if you go online, it's very easy to find the critiques of Barton's work. The name is the Baptist Joint Committee on Public Affairs is one example where they have a document done 15 years ago criticizing his work, where they dissect one of his works, and it's very well laid out, their criticism of it. So this is by no means a single group versus another single group. It is the broad spectrum of the middle of American faithful life.
And Charlie, if I could just clarify what you said earlier, the commission at this time has no plans to air the Barton documentary. Is that correct?
I cannot speak for the commission. There has been statements made in the media by commissioners saying not within the next few months. There have been statements made that they don't plan to air it. There have been statements made that we are a new direction. Internally, and speaking as Chief Operating Officer and as a long-term employee, we don't know internally what that direction is. And as I stated in my letter to the governor, when you're recognized nationwide as being one of the top 4 or 5 PBS affiliates and educational television in the nation, and your commission wants a change of direction, when you're the best that's out there, what does a change in direction indicate, or potential indicate? And that's one of my grave concerns. And that was the reason, as the appointing authority of the commission, that I felt that the governor needed to be definitely aware of what was going on. And as of today, I have had no response back from the governor's office.
So to clarify, internally, as far as you know, there's no decision that's been made to air these programs, but you can't speak for what commissioners
I
are
cannot
saying.
speak for what the commissioners might do. And at this point, the staff, the majority of the staff, because they confide in me, do not have confidence in our commission.
Also, to clarify, is it a commission decision to air this programming? Heretofore, wouldn't it have been Mr. Posada's
It
decision?
would have been an internal, we have a committee that is set up internally to review programs that come in. We get submissions, we'll average 3 to 5 per week of programs. People will send stuff we would like to air on public television. We review those as a committee. A lot of them get thrown out right to start with because they don't even meet the standards. And then we review them. And if they meet the standards and are appropriate for public television, then we proceed down a path to possibly air them. If not, that's something that's always been done internally. And at this point, ultimately, the commission does have that authority. They can, but then you get into another realm of legality as being government appointed people then telling what must be aired is the government controlling what is aired. So that's a whole nother argument that you open up another can of worms if you go down that road.
So to carry this a step further, unless the commission were to tell you to air this programming, it's not going to, it won't air then.
As long as I have a voice in it, it will not be aired.
Okay.
But the commission does have the authority to fire me, demote me, send me home, and do whatever they wish to do.